Hi guys, how are you all doing? Extron, I see you. How are you all doing? The title of today's message is The Stellar Mythos. And how are you all doing? I see you, my brothers and sisters. I see you, Evelyn. Hello, Treasure. Hello, Clement. Hello, Judith. So, hi, how are you doing? I'm waiting for everywhere to populate. How are you? Let me start with a prayer. Hello, Jigs. You didn't miss much. We just came on now, literally. And I'm going to keep this very short. I always say that. And however, I actually pray that I can actually keep this short. Okay? So this is Nigeria. And even though my estate has 24 hours light from time to time, um, the light goes. Look out, we might lose a bit in. Uh, let's start with. I'm gonna start. Is it working? Okay, girl. Am I back? Can I continue with my? Can I proceed with my preaching? Do you know? Because the light tripped. Even though I have tried very hard to go through. We've been cut off for one reason. The book of Deuteronomy 4:19. That's Deuteronomy 4:19. I like the phrase 4:19 because we need to be very careful so as phrase 4:19 because we need to be very careful so as iPad will be on the faster network. I hope it doesn't affect any of the streaming devices. It says, I'm reading the NLT, that's the New Living Translation. And when you look up into the sky and see the sun, moon, and stars, all the four peoples of the earth. Also, with me, still repeating in the book of Deuteronomy 17, and this time I'm reading from verse 3. For instance, they might serve the forces of heaven, which I strictly, which I have strictly forbidden. This is God's altar. They were facing east, bowing low to the ground, worshipping the sun. The Lord expressly forbade the worship of the stars. And whether you like it or not, Egypt originally has a name called Kemet. That is what it was called. Alchemy, chemistry. If you understand what I'm talking about, the first point of civilization in the world. Now, a lot of people have over the years established many stellar doctrines. I'm trying to pick my words. I'm trying to pick my words. I hope you are working with me. Because I know whatever, and the essence of what I'm doing would be lost. Look up into the New International Version says, "Do not be enticed." King contemporary. I like NLT. You know, NLT is the preferred translation that the Free Nation employs. So, tempted is one of them. Tumble, attract, entice, beguile. I love that word, beguile. And we're going to go to the beginning. Genesis chapter 3 and 1. The serpent was the shrewdest of all the wild animals the Lord had made. One day he asked the woman, "Did God really say you must not eat the fruit from any of the trees in the garden?" Of course, only the fruit from the tree in the middle of the garden that we're not allowed to eat. God said you must not eat it or even touch it. If you do, you will die. You won't die, the snake replied the woman. God knows your eyes will be opened as soon as you eat it, and you'll be like God, knowing both good and evil. The woman was convinced. I want you to hold on to that word too. She saw the tree was beautiful and its fruit looked delicious. She wanted something from that tree. She had enough. Fruit wasn't her problem. She wasn't hungry and she was dying of hunger. And then there's a fruit tree and she's tempted to eat because she's dying of hunger. It appealed to her. Did not come and fight her. One second, guys. He didn't put gun point. He didn't put a gun to her head. If there's anybody looking for trouble here, let me just know so I can just take the person out. We have too much work. Can we all report Shane TV 3130, please? Just report the guy so that he will not discuss with my message. And sorry, Second Corinthians chapter 11. But I fear that somehow James used the word as the serpent beguiled Eve through its subtlety. It seduced, beguiled. The New Living Translation says, by Deuteronomy 4:19, moon and the stars. Stellar Mythos. Picking my words, I know. Because the scriptures refer to Christ as the morning star. And that already seemingly establishes him as a stellar mythos. If you read Revelations 22 from 7, it says, "Look, I am coming soon. Blessed are those who obey the words of prophecy written in this book." Coming soon. 13, "I am the Alpha and the Omega." Then in 16, he says, "I, Yahushua, have sent my angel to give you this message for the churches. I am both the source of David and the heir to his throne. I am the bright morning star." In this particular verse, why we never establish doctrines in Revelation is because there's too much poetic license. It does not make him a star god, does not make him. And also remember, the sun is a star. I don't need to prove that to you. Google it. He is the bright morning star. Shows he is the resurrected, the one who was raised from the dead. Because the word morning star was always changed for Lucifer. So he is the resurrected Lucifer, while Satan is the fallen Lucifer. So when Satan fell, he resurrected. Doesn't mean he is a star god or a sun god. And many sun beaming from the back of his head like a halo. Very, very suspect. And this teaching is down to the worship of the stellar mythos at Christmas, where we have all the sun gods. We have Nimrod, and who's also known as right in the middle of the winter solstice. It cannot be a coincidence. Understand what I'm talking about? It cannot be a coincidence because the scriptures say, "Do not be seduced." So they're not going to come around and put a gun to your head and say, you must worship Nimrod. No. If you read what I said, what the snake said in the book of Genesis, which I'm going to again, he says, the woman was, Genesis 3 and 6, the woman was convinced. She saw that the tree, because there was what she was looking for. And the devil knew what she was looking for. And he told her. Many of you have simply because you're looking for all these things. Eve at that point wanted to be wise, wanted to live forever, wanted to know about both good and evil. And the Lord cannot fly above 14, max 15,000 feet without compression. In. And the problem with hypoxia is you do not know when it sets in. That's where the phrase subtle incapacitation came from. It takes over your mind. You begin to smile. As an aviator who's conscious, and they died smiling. They did not know how they transitioned from life to death because their mind was taken over. They're gone. Many of you have been seduced, disobeying the word of God, replacing the Son of God with a son God. That is why a church can have a Shiloh when God categorically destroyed Shiloh in the scriptures. And every year they have Shiloh because what they're worshiping is not the God